Hey everyone, and welcome to the How to Get Really Good at Soccer by Yourself. So I want to welcome you to the video and also ask you to get a pen and notepad ready because I will be asking you some questions and you're probably going to want to take some notes and come up with a strategy for yourself based off of these ideas. Now before we continue, I just warn you this is for more serious players. If you're not really a player that's that committed towards their improvement, or you're not a player that really wants to get better, this is just going to be a waste of your time. But if you are a player who is committed to growing, is committed to getting better, is committed to getting to that next level, is, committed to really finding out and digging deep into what makes a great player and how the players who seem to get good out of nowhere actually get that way, then keep watching. So we're going to get right into it. This one's going to be quicker than a lot of the lessons we've done in the past, but that's fine. So what we're going to be covering in this lesson, number one, is how to focus on the right areas, and we'll get into that a little more. Why you need to be a learner, and this is extremely important. How to build momentum, and momentum is what's really going to help you improve a lot in a short amount of time. For those of you who are taking the 30-day ball control challenge, if you actually do it every single day for 30 days, you're going to probably experience a bit of this, which is going to be fantastic for you. Next is consistency and habits, which ties into momentum a little bit as well, but that's an extremely important one. And the next one is take the challenge, and I'll explain that. So we're going to move right along into the first slide, and it's focus on your talents. So what do I mean? Well, here's the thing, guys. You only have so much time to practice on a daily basis. Most players don't even practice on a daily basis, which leaves them with even less time. So you can only focus on so many things. So instead of becoming good at everything, so like being decent at passing, being decent at defense and tackling, being decent at these things, become amazing at a few things. Well, how do you figure out what to work on and become amazing at? Well, one of the things that will tell you what to do is based on your position. So for example, if you're a striker, it's going to benefit you a lot more to be focusing on your finishing and penetrating runs than it will be to practice your slide tackling and defensive positioning, if you see what I mean. You see, learning defensive positioning and tackling, even as a striker, will probably be beneficial at some point, maybe, but it's nowhere near going to be as beneficial and as good for your game as if you focused more on your finishing and your composure and things of that nature. So this will vary on your position. So whatever position you are, you need to find out what are the main attributes that position requires. And these are the things you want to be focusing on more than others. So this is what you focus on. Now, if you've ever heard the saying, you get what you put your attention on, you get what you focus on. In fact, I have, I think, somewhere here. I thought I had a quote on my desk about it, but I can't find it. Okay, don't worry about that. But where you rest your focus, where you rest your attention, that's ultimately what you're going to get. So if you're a winger and you're required to beat people one-on-one, if you're not focusing on improving your ability one-on-one, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to improve on it. You need to start focusing on your strengths, or the things that need to become your strengths, because you only have so much time, you only have so much energy, you can't do it all. There's, I think, a famous saying that says you can have anything you want, but you can't have everything. And what that means is you can have what you focus on. If you work hard enough, you'll probably get it if you work hard enough on what you focus on. But you can't focus on everything. Your focus cannot be spread too thin, or you just won't end up accomplishing anything. So that's what that means. Next is you still want to become good at most things, but you want to focus on a few main things. So I don't want you to think because I'm saying you need to focus and become great at a few things that you should neglect the other areas. No, you should still find some time for those, but they should not be an everyday thing. For example, every day I practice a few key things. One of those things is ball control, because I think it's incredibly important. And because I'm a striker, I always practice some skill moves or some kind of dribbling thing as well, because a lot of the time I'm required to beat someone one-on-one or be able to dribble my way into the box in order to score. Those are things I focus on more than other things. I could, just focus on my passing ability, or I could focus on many other things, but I want to focus on the things that are going to make me the most effective in my position. So here's a question for you, and if you have a notepad out, I want you to answer this. And guys, remember, leave me the answers to all your questions in the comments down below. And the reason I ask that is because we have a great community of players who can help you out with what you're struggling with, and I can come into the comments as well and comment on your answers and help you out some more. So that's why it's beneficial. Don't be shy. Make sure you're commenting. So what are you going to focus on mainly? I want you to write it down. I want you to think. You can pause the video and think for a few minutes here. You don't have to answer it within 10 seconds. Really think about it. What are you going to focus on mainly? What should you be focusing on mainly? So pause the video and go ahead and answer that. Okay, we're moving right along to the next topic, which is be a learner. If you want to improve by yourself and really get good by yourself, which is completely possible, many players do it. In fact, I got a Snapchat from someone the other day telling me how much he improved through watching my videos and then implementing the advice in that. That's him pretty much by himself improving. Sure, he's used videos to help him, which of course you should do that. But he's the one who put in the work. Being a learner is going to help you do that. So no matter what your level, you can always learn more. Don't be fooled. Professionals are still learning. They're still learning how to become better. They're still learning how to be more effective. You think Ronaldo and Messi still aren't learning? Oh, they're still learning. They're learning as much as they can to get the competitive edge they need to be the best player. Once you think you know it all, you've lost. I got a comment on one of my videos today, actually, and it was a skill move video where I showed, like, I did it a while ago, over a year ago, where I showed 10 moves that are good for attacking players. And the guy commented, oh, these are easy. I already know all of these. Immediately when I saw that comment, I'm like, this player isn't going to go places with that attitude. As soon as you think you are too good, or as soon as you think like, oh, I already know all of that, it's easy. When you adopt that mentality, you've lost, because now you've inflated your ego to the point where you think, I don't need to learn. I don't need to learn anything else. Oh, these 10 moves, I have them all mastered. You probably don't. So don't develop that mindset. You always want to be a student, always be a learner, always be admitting to yourself that I can get better. Because as soon as you think, I can't get any better, I'm as good as I'm ever going to be, I'm, amazing, that's when you start to decline. You don't want that. So again, yes, always be a student of the game. Always be a student of the game. Don't one day think you know it all and then lose that ability to learn more and more. Because you'll miss out to players who are going to improve and get better than you because they are learning. So watch videos like SimplySoccer videos, wink wink, all the time on what you want to learn. So, and you don't have to just watch my videos. I have a lot of great videos on many different topics that I've made. You can go on my channel and look at some old videos. You can make sure you're subscribed so you get the new ones. But there are so many other good channels out there too. There's channels like Progressive Soccer and Become Elite, and Will John, and there's so many. There's Free Kickers, although they don't usually do too many tutorials anymore. Well, that's not completely true. But what I'm trying to get at is there's so many great channels out there that you could be learning from. So don't just learn from me. Definitely learn from the videos I put out, but learn as much as you can and then implement it. Don't stop learning. There's so much information and content out there, and there is a point when it becomes overload and too much information. But as long as the person who's teaching it knows what they're speaking about, and you can implement their advice and you see yourself getting better, keep learning more and more. Okay. So read articles and books, watch games, footage, etc. Keep learning, keep finding new ways to learn. Every day you should be learning at least a little bit, something little, something small about the game. Go to bed a little wiser about this sport than you were when you woke up. Next, do you consider yourself a learner right now? Be honest. If you haven't been reading, if you haven't been looking at videos and actually taking it in, I don't mean just looking at videos, watching it for entertainment value. I mean looking at videos and consciously learning. If you haven't been doing any of that, your answer is no, and it's okay. Just be honest with yourself. Now, if you haven't been doing that, how are you going to become one? How are you going to start becoming a learner? What are you going to start doing? So pause the video and take a few minutes to answer that question, and we'll move on. Next is building momentum. Now, this is really important. Momentum is what's going to help you grow quickly. Again, like I mentioned, for those of you doing the 30-day ball control challenge with me, you're going to start seeing this happening if you don't break the chain, which I'll explain what that means. So things start to become easier if you do them every single day. If you start building momentum, things start becoming a little more effortless. They start becoming easier. You don't have to think about them. Think of someone who's been working out every day for like a year. They don't even have to think about going to the gym. It's just part of their routine. It's so a part of them now. They've built so much momentum that it's not even a struggle. In fact, it's quite enjoyable for a lot of them. They start to enjoy it. Again, it's one of those most desirable flows. They start to enjoy it. It's something that you want. Once you hit this, things just become so much easier. Now, it takes a while to hit momentum, and it takes a lot of consistency, which we're going to talk about. But once you do, things start to fall into place. Now, you don't want to break momentum. Don't break the chain, which I just mentioned. So breaking the chain means missing a day or missing a week or missing a month. So, for example, I could be working out for a whole month. If I didn't miss a week, I've broken the chain and I've broken that momentum that I've built, and now I have to start climbing up the hill again. So that's what you want to avoid. So with like the 30-day ball control challenge, if you did it for the first week, which we're on right now, we're on the second week. If you did it for that first week, but then you miss 3 days into the second week, you're going to break the chain. You're going to break your momentum, where if you don't miss those days, by the end of the second week, you're going to be seeing so many improvements. By the end of the third week, even more, and it's going to start getting so much easier. You're going to notice your touch is just effortless. You're going to notice that you don't even think about going out and practicing now. You just do it. So you don't want to break that chain. So the next two things we're going to go over are actually things that help with building momentum. So we'll get to that in the next slide. So tell me of a time you built up momentum, and what was the outcome? So did you work out for a long time? Were you practicing a certain thing for a long time and build up that momentum where it became much easier, almost effortless, and just you were getting all these results? Let me know in the comments and write it down in your notebook. Pause the video, give yourself a few minutes for that, and we'll move on. Next is consistency and habits, and this is something I go on all the time. Consistency starts to build habits. You want to develop habits that help you reach your goals, not ones that prevent you from getting there. Look, you have habits whether you realize it or not, whether they're good or bad. If you don't know you have habits, it most likely means you have bad habits. A habit is just a repeated behavior. It's something you've done over and over and over and over again to the point where you don't even have to think about doing it anymore. An example I use is I hope you brush your teeth every day, twice a day, preferably. You do that by habit. You don't really have to think about that. You just wake up in the morning, you eat your breakfast, you do whatever, and then you brush your teeth. It's not a struggle. It's not something you have to remind yourself of, really. It's just kind of a part of you. Same when before you go to bed, you probably brush your teeth. It's because it's a habit. That's a healthy habit. Unhealthy habits would be things like watching too much TV, too much internet, like watching too much Netflix, biting your nails, or eating poorly. These are bad habits. Now, the way you build habits is consistency. Like I said, you do something over and over again. The reason if you eat poorly, why you continue to eat poorly, is because you've built up that habit. Meaning you've ate so poorly before in the past all the time, or a lot of the time, that it's become a habit of yours. Same with if you're biting your nails. You're so used to doing it that it becomes a habit. So you want to develop habits that are going to help you reach your goals. And I'll tell you how to do that. So consistency and habitual behavior starts creating momentum, either negative or positive. So if you're developing good habits, you're going to build more positive momentum, where if you're developing bad habits, you're going to be negative momentum. You don't want that. You don't want negative momentum, okay? And all that means is you're building momentum to develop bad things, which means you're more quickly developing the bad things that you don't want. So you don't want that. So habits become subconscious, and they can stay with you for a whole lifetime if they're left untouched, if you don't become aware of them. So you need to look at what are your behaviors and how can you alter them to benefit you. And why I mention this for soccer, because it's so important that you develop certain habits for soccer, like practicing certain things, eating well, exercising, working out. All these things, these habits are what's going to create or make you into a great player. If you guys watch Become Elite's channel, I love his channel, Matt's channel, because he's someone who you can see through a lot of hard work and consistency has built up some incredible habits, some incredible workout habits, some incredible eating habits, some incredible practicing habits. And there's no accident that he's now playing professionally in the USL because of it. Because he built up habits, positive, good habits, to where he doesn't really miss days working out. I'm sure every now and then he gives himself a break, but probably not that often. He doesn't miss a training session. He doesn't miss his eating schedule that much because he's built them into habits. It's not as difficult for him now. Sure, it's still going to be difficult, but it's not going to be like when you're first starting out. So you can consciously develop the habits you want through hard work and consistency. And the great thing about all of this is consistency, habits, and momentum all tie in together. It's your consistency with certain behaviors that will develop your habits, which will develop your momentum. So you need to start doing this. You need to start looking at what are your habits. If you don't have a habit of practicing every day or close to every day, you need to start doing that. If you're not consistently eating well, you need to start looking at that, okay? And once you start getting into the routine of doing these things, you'll start building that momentum, which is going to bring you more results. So, and we're going to get into a thing in the next slide that you can do in order to help you with your consistency and habits and momentum right away. But for now, I want you to answer this. Are you consistent at the moment with what you want to be? And do you have good habits? And so tell me that. Tell me what your good habits are. And bad habits if you want. Then tell me, what habits do you want to develop? So if you could have any habits that were rooted in your subconscious, what would you want them to be? And you can mention why if you want as well. The more detailed, the better. So pause the video, put that in your notebook, put that in the comments, and we'll move on to the next slide. Take the challenge. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. I want to give you guys an example of how you can build momentum. So a 30-day challenge or 30-day challenges are a great way to start building consistency, momentum, and habits. It's a good way of giving you like a taste of what these can do for your life. So take ones that I do on the channel. I'm going to be doing 30-day challenges with you guys. We're already doing one right now, the ball control challenge. You've heard me mention it a few times. A few of you watching this might be in it, which if you are, great. And I've already gotten like comments from people already 7 or 8 days in who are already seeing results. Now imagine if they continue all the way to the 30th day doing the drills, how much improvement and consistency they'll build. Not just 30 days, guys. That's just 30 days. Imagine if you did it for 60 or 90 or half a year or a year. Imagine the results. Imagine the results of a whole year of consistency, momentum, and good habits. That it's life-changing. That's what it is. It can be life-changing. So start taking the 30-day challenges that I start giving you guys on the channel, but you can also create your own. You don't need to wait for me. I'm going to be doing ones like right now we're doing ball control. We're going to be doing other soccer-related ones. But if you want to do other things, do it. Like right now I'm also taking a yoga challenge because my flexibility isn't too great and I want something for injury prevention. You don't need to wait for me. Create your own challenge. And all you need to do, you can actually, I'll link in the description the ball control challenge announcement video, because in that video I show you how to make like a checklist sheet to track your 30 days. So if you do want to create your own, I would take a look at that just as an example or for an example. But you can create your own, and this is going to help you build those habits you want. It's going to remind you to be consistent and remind you that you need to be consistent to build habits and momentum. And you're going to start seeing this actually working in your life if you follow through, right? And don't worry if you mess up the first few times, it's okay. You can just start over and go again. That's the great thing about a 30-day challenge, because it's not that many days. If you mess up, you can just keep going. You're fine. There's a lot of forgiveness with a 30-day challenge. And always be trying new ones. So always be trying new 30-day challenges, habits you want to develop. So don't shy away from things you want to develop. If you want to develop a habit of working out, do a 30-day challenge for it. If you want to develop like a yoga one, like I do, you can just do stretching. You don't have to do yoga. That's just something I want to personally do. You can do that. You can even do ones like meditation. You can do ones like I want to practice my stepovers every single day. And imagine, like, again, like if you practiced your stepovers for 30 days every single day, imagine how good at stepovers you would be on the 30th day. Like, guys, I'm trying to paint a picture for you here. It really, really can change so much. Just being consistent for 30 days. And it's not, for those of you who think 30 days are a long time, it's not. I blinked and 30 days went by for me. Like, I remember last month and I'm like, wow, where did the time go? 30 days is not long. So, but you can create a lot of progress and momentum in just 30 days. So I really implore you to take a 30-day challenge. So after you reach 30 days, go beyond 30 days. For any of you in the ball control challenge, once you hit that 30 days, it's up to you whether you keep going. But by that point, you'll probably be seeing such good results and you'll probably be feeling so good about it that you'll go beyond 30 days. And that's the point. We want to develop a habit. A habit is something that you just keep doing. It's something you don't even have to think about. It's habitualized. It's subconscious. So that's the goal with the 30-day challenge, is to give you a taste of what momentum and consistency and a habit can do for you. And then to also show you, wow, if it can do that much for me in 30 days, imagine 60 days, imagine 90 days, imagine a whole year. Okay? So it's also a great way to track your progress. 30 days, I find, is a good way to track how good you were on day 1 to how good you were on day 30 while seeing progress. I found it's a nice sweet spot. So it's also a great way to track your progress. So another thing about this is be honest with yourself. If you miss a day, you got to mark it. If you're lying to yourself, you're going to be like, well, why am I not getting results? I'm being consistent. Well, it's because you're not actually being consistent. You're lying to yourself. You missed that day, but you refused to exit, or you said, okay, well, I'm going to give myself 1 day off or something like that. You got to be honest with yourself. And that's important for any of the things in this lesson. If you're not being honest with yourself, and you know the old saying goes, if you're going to be honest with anyone, be honest with yourself. There's a reason for that. Because if you start lying to yourself and start becoming delusional, you can't improve. You really just can't improve if you won't be honest with yourself, because you won't know what to improve. All right, guys, so let me know, what 30-day challenge are you going to take and why? Do you want to take the ball control challenge? You can start from day 0 and start that. Are you going to do some kind of workout, some eating habit one? There's literally millions of things you could do. So let me know what 30-day challenge you want to take and tell me why you want to take it. All right, there we go. So thank you guys for watching. I actually did have this part animated, but PowerPoint, I don't know what it did. So thank you guys for watching. This was a lot quicker. I want to try and start making these videos kind of a little quicker like this, because I know you guys have to pause the video anyway to kind of answer questions and maybe write stuff down. So I want to prevent these videos from being like 40 minutes long if possible. But, I like doing these videos because I want to give you guys in-depth videos that are actually going to help you in the long run. And the best thing about these videos, and for all of those of you who are still listening right now, I know you guys are serious players because you're actually listening to the end, you're writing things down, you're actually taking action, you're not just opening this being like, oh, 20 minutes or 30 minutes, I'm not watching this. You're actually watching all the way through, and you're committed to improving. And those are the kind of players I want to be teaching. So thank you guys for listening to the end. I hope you have learned something from this. I hope you're going to take the advice I've given you in this and implement it. That's the important thing. You have the information now. You have the awareness. Awareness is step 1. But now it's the implementation and the experimentation. Now you need to take some action. All right, guys, so thank you for watching. Make sure you thumbs up this video and share it, and subscribe if you're new to Simply Soccer. I'm going to have 2 videos come across the screen that I think you're going to like, so you can click on one of those if the topic interests you. We'll have another longer video like this next Friday. That's my phone, which is telling me time to sign off. I'll see you later.